Ela é uma
Sim.
desbravadora da floresta.
Dia ou noite, exatas ou humanas, cidade ou campo. Poder fazer escolhas significa conquistar um dos maiores desejos da humanidade, a independência. E o Sebrae acredita que empreender é uma porta para a independência, que está aberta para as pessoas de todas as idades, gêneros e que buscam mais opções para suas vidas. Para o Sebrae, tão importante quanto incentivar negócios a darem certo é apoiar pessoas que transformam sonhos em projetos de vida, que ajudam a gerar empregos, desenvolver a sua comunidade e a transmitir a cultura empreendedora no país. Um lugar onde todos têm liberdade para escolher, inclusive escolher empreender. Sebrae, a força do empreendedor brasileiro.
A moda da Malve não tem ponto final, igual a sua. Nós acreditamos que pequenas atitudes transformam o mundo. Quer mais atitude do que mudar o seu jeito de escolher? Moda inteligente, feita de um jeito mais sustentável que reflete o seu estilo. Uma peça de roupa pode viver muitas histórias, por muito tempo. Não é sobre ser descartável. É sobre você e sobre o mundo. Malve, moda sem ponto final.
Good afternoon, everybody. People wonderful in Brazil, in the world. And today it's wonderful. It's the Environment Day. It's a day of struggle, connection. It's a day of being proud of the beautiful place that we transit in this big universe, this amazing planet. And I have the great honor today to present this panel, the final panel, on behalf of Ref Bia Saldanha, the co-founder of Real Ethical Fashion. And I'd like to thank to our sponsors, Sebrae, Maui Group, Netherlands Embassy, and also our supporters. And telling you that is a great joy to be here, that Iame, our founder, our inspiration for everything, invited me to be here to introduce this panel. A dear friend of mine, Denise Chaer. Together with her, she has organized and has inspired us to invite two amazing people that will talk to us about disruption, all the disruption, everything that we need right now, disruption of everything. Let's rethink everything, let's start up again. Let's open up our channels, our pores, our connections to feel the world differently. And I believe this is a very inspiring day to have this exercise of disruption with these amazing people. I am here with Denise Chaer, Humberto Campana, and Carla Marins. Denise will introduce them. I'm here just welcoming you all and telling you that enjoy, because this is a wonderful opportunity of being this so significant day, thinking about these new ways of realizing the world and realizing ourselves in this planet, amazing planet that is this Gaia, the Earth. So, my dear friends, good luck. The audience, enjoy this panel and received all this inspiration, welcome the nice people that are here to honor Rio Ethical Fashion. A kiss and thank you so much for your attendance. Bia, hi, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so special to be here. I met Bia when I was 14 years old. Bia was one of the person who inspired who I am today. She has this deep mark. She marks my story of my female aspect. Thank you, Bia. Thank you. Bia is one of the co-founders, and Yame and Nina, they are two women from Rio de Janeiro that bring sustainability to fashion, also part of my female imagine. I'd like to honor them because they open a space for my generation to be here today. So, girls, thank you so much. I'd like to thank to Carol. Carol is my generation, co-founder of Rio Ethical Fashion, and I have the privilege to work with these three girls, extraordinary girls, Nina, Yame, and Bia. Thank you so much. And today, as Bia mentioned, we celebrate the environment, and I really need something. Bia has taken me to the forest and has me brought the repertoire up to this day that makes me understand more and more different dimensions that exist in a forest. The forest, the dimension as is the Amazon forest. And through Bia, I get to know Carla. She's going to be with us. I need to thank her so much for all this heritage. As we have Environment Day, I really need to excuse to the spirits of the forest. So we open up this space for speech. I'd like to thank you so much for you people, friends of mine that are here on WhatsApp. We do not see people on the other side of the screen, and it's so hard to connect with a computer in front of us. I'd like to evoke the presence of people. Claudia is here, Paula Maria Clara. I'd like to connect with you and honor your presence here today. This panel was organized with New Urbans, that is this project of social innovation, Novos Urbanos. What anchored this project is the expansion of conscience. We have meetings and dialogue helping people totally different to get together so we can revisit social pact, social agreement that we have consciently or unconsciously. So these pacts manifest the reality that we experience today. The name of panel, the disruption of everything. There is this belief on the importance of the social, imaginary, collective for the world that manifests today. The images that we project, they create more than representing the world that we see. These images create the world that we live, and the images are projected individually. Nowadays, everybody projects something on the social network, images that we project in a collective way, in the news, the headlines, the magazines. Even there is another layer, that are the layers, the images that are invisible. We project inside ourselves, in our mental screen, from the social narrative that are dominant. I believe that all these images together, they outline the world we live. And this request of the disruption of all, I loaned this name of one of the panels that Humberto Campana participated. I get his name from that panel because it's highly inspiring to see the trajectory of 35 years of Campana Brothers and realize the disruption, this new world that they created from this collage, from these daily activities, deep observation of daily activities that they have. And they put images together to create new worlds, new realities from that work. I really needed to mention these two people, Humberto representing the mind of these two people. I needed to bring him to talk about it. And Carla Martins, this wonderful, wonderful person that you will see. That is a disruption in person. The founder, actress, cultural producer, part of the group of founders of the Mídia Fora do Eixo, Casa Ninja, Ninja Amazônia. So important to have this disruption of the images that we used to see in the big screen. So today's panel is this evocation, as Bia said, summoning, getting our power, creation, our collective imaginary, so we can project the world that we would like to live in. So I pass the microphone to Humberto, but in reality, we are going to start by a recorded testimony with Humberto. I open up the microphone so Humberto can say hi. He is here, he's live, as you can see him. But last week, we produced a special video in his creative temple that we are going to bring it today. Humberto, is up to you to say hi to everybody.
Boa tarde. Eu estou muito feliz de estar participando desse projeto e, enfim, hoje é um dia legal, especial para mim, também para todos, né? A árvore é tudo, né? Natureza. E o Brasil ele tem tantas florestas, tantos ambientes, meio ambientes, que são os nossos museus, né? Como Louvre, MoMA. Acho que essa é a nossa grande riqueza.
Like Louvre, MoMA, this is our biggest richness in life. The environment needs to be taken care of. That's why Brazil is so great. It's not an exchange. This is the coin of the future. This is the price of the future. I'm so happy being here. I believe that's it.
Não dá para não te abrir o microfone.
You need to say hi as well before the testimony. Good afternoon, Denise. Good afternoon, Humberto. Good afternoon, Bia. Hi, Inacri as well. So close to me, far away, but so close to me. A very special moment, a very special day, Environment Day. They need us so much. And it's a very special day because it's been a year that we found Casa Ninja Amazonia for a space to disseminate everything that's going on in Amazonia. It's a very special moment. Also, we have this amazing meeting. I thank you so much to this movement, Real Ethical Fashion, Denise with Novos Urbanos, Bia, that connect us all. Bia is a person that always connects people in meetings. This is a very special moment to celebrate, a hard moment, but anyway, a celebration. So we are going to watch the videos before this testimony that we prepared, especially in the sacred temple that is his creation space. We are going to see firsthand a very short video of the exhibit 35 years. We deep dive in the sensorial universe, disruptive and creative of this duo of designers, the Campana Brothers. And when they open up the exposit in Rio de Janeiro, March 14, 2020, this exhibit needs to be closed because the pandemic decree lockdown in Brazil. So we are going to see something that is unprecedented, part of the video, and then the testimony with Humberto, and then we start up our debate.
conhecia. Surpreendeu.
I didn't know here. I'm surprised, really, the organization, all the structure, and also knowing that the people that are here, they are in the workplace market. They are coming into the workplace.
Eu acho que quando eu faço design, eu estou contando uma história. Estou contando
When I
momento.
design, I'm telling a story. I'm telling about a moment, something that is happening around me. The object it's a character. It connects with the other things. Sometimes you even talk to things. And I believe that our work makes bridges between arts and design. I want to build my life with my hands. I knew what I wanted to be. I used to make frames out of shells in Bahia. I took the shells from the beach. I washed them, then I glued them, and then I sold that. And this exhibition, it's here. It's very important.
Eu nasci em Brotas em
I was born in Brotas in 1953. My sign is Pisces. And I had this big passion for animals, for trees, for zoos. I made my own zoo. My home had a big garden with a river flowing through. So I had chicken, I had ducks, and I used to make fences. And then I would split the room for the chicken, the room for the pig, and I believe that was my zoo. I wanted to be an Indian. I wanted to be indigenous. I loved to walk barefoot, go to school barefoot. My mother was a teacher. She was to apprehend me. No, you need to use a shoe. I went out of school and I went barefoot. Brotas back in the day was a big farm. There was no street. It wasn't a pavement. The only paved street was from São Paulo to Campinas, and my father had a Jeep, and we used to drive down this road without pavement, and it was an adventure. It used to take like 6 or 5 hours, and it was so beautiful because Brota was a cerrado, and we used to wake up at 5 a.m. and we saw the animals, we saw the man wolf, we saw everything, really, all the animals. And there was a cinema in Brotas. Brotas was very tedious. I got bored a lot because there was no culture, there was no art. We had a cinema. There was an Italian guy that brought movies from Rita Pavone, Chanchada, Dercy Gonçalves, Kubrick. And it was very boring, really, because it was just that either you played soccer, and I didn't like it that much. I was a sensible guy. I was an artist in my soul, and at that time, this was an outsider. Really, it's a sin. You can't with an Italian family, a Christian family, some military people in my family. I had to reinvent myself. I went to church. You had those big glasses, tinted glasses in the church, and the priest was preaching, and I was just looking around the stained glasses. Then I went to the movies, and I would reinvent all that I saw in my garden. I love to do things with my hands, and it was hard. It was hard. It was very hard because when you are in São Paulo and you have culture, you have museums and you have access to all that, it's different. I was a hillbilly, a hillbilly. And then came the 70, 72. I had to choose a college, and I chose law school. I just landed on law school, San Francisco Law School, to become a lawyer. And the first day I was frowning. I understood there were a lot of famous law people, and my accent, I was rejected from the beginning because of my accent. People laugh at me, they made bullying, they bullied me, and it was hard, but I stayed there. I got my degree. I gave the degree to my father and my mother, and I said, I'm going to build my life with my own hands. And I said, I believe that with my own hands, I can build it without any help. I went to Bahia. A friend of mine, Milton from Bartas, invited me to help him. He was an architect, and he said, oh, why don't you make shell mirrors for my bathrooms, for my projects? I had to pick up shells. I went to Itabuna, washed the shells, and I started doing shell mirrors. And that was very pretty. It was not, made poorly. I had techniques. People believed it was a work I was doing for a long time ago, and those mosaics, Byzantine mosaics. I stood 1 month doing this shell work. But that distance from São Paulo and from my family opened me up. Bahia opened the world to me. I went a lot to Salvador. I listened to the Tropicalists, Caetano, Gal, Betânia, Gil. I am from that generation, Rita Lee, Mutantes, and that fascinates me. I went to Salvador at the time, at the 70s. It was incredible, really beautiful. Porto da Barra, it was wonderful. I photograph with my mind, with my stomach. It starts with my stomach. My eyes don't stop, my head does not stop. I am always looking out for something that would take the boredom out of me, you know? And then I started doing those mirrors. I came to São Paulo. Fernando, my brother, got his degree in architecture at Belas Artes. He had classes with Flávio Império. He was an assistant of Daniel Birran at Bienal de São Paulo. So he had all this universe of art that I didn't have. I was a naive person, but I did my things right. And he started bringing modern aspects to me. I wanted to be a sculptor, and he gave functionality to my sculptures. And I think, oh, our Brazil is a country. I want to show Brazil that I don't know, with humility, with humbleness. I don't want to be what the other is. I don't want to be German. I don't want to be Japanese. I believe that we have our soul is very rich, and we have a kind heart, a good right heart. I believe that Brazilians have that. I want to show that is possible. It is possible to be kind. It is possible to be loving, to have affect in the other. I believe that my work tries to bring that humbleness. I hate arrogant people. I hate it. I believe that everyone will go to the same place, you know. Someday you will drop dead and you will go through the same problems. I hate arrogant people. And I want to show that. People think sometimes, oh, but you're so prosaic, because they have a fantasy that I live in Europe and I am from the big world. Nothing like that. I am just this. I love to craft. I don't like to talk. I don't like to write. When they ask me for a text, I say, oh, I prefer to do 15 different shares and it will come out in an hour, but a text is very hard for me. The greatest challenge for me and my brother is to put soul in things. You know, put soul in an object, turn it into a living being. And I believe that is the greatest challenge. Nothing starts with the function, with the practicality of it. The greatest challenge is to bring my truth. You need to bring truth. You need to seek truth. What is that truth? I don't know, but that's it. You know, my mind does not stop. It's pieces of everything all day. I have an idea, then I go to another. It's very confusing, everything, you know. And I believe that reflects in my work, to try to unite, to glue things together, to try and survive, to have an emotional balance, to not let me get dragged away by depression, by chaos. Everything is very chaotic up in here, you know. There's no rationale. Everything's like, and I believe that I take things so I can build them and get some sort of serenity. For me, it's great here. This is a temple for me. That's what I say, because that's where I heal. People that work with me, they have high energy. It's my family. They are my family. I love when they are here because I feed on them. I feel fed with them. Sometimes I'm doing works that are like little plastic animals, and I'm trying to make a lamplight, and I cut them and put them together, making a tower with durepox, making a chandelier. And that is very hard, because to get to a level of delicacy and equilibrium, I am 15 days working in a chandelier, and it was born. it was born skewed, and I'm trying to put it straight, but I believe that from things are born. I love feeling the DNA of the material. You know, material tells things. It is a character for me. It challenges me. It stays in front of me. Here we have lots of things that are laid around, and I still haven't thought about it. But at some moment, I will come in here. I will look at the ground, and I'll look at a little lamino, and an idea will come. And I believe that life and the universe, it's very generous to me. It's very generous because, and that saves me. You know, I am seeking, I'm seeking life and trying to be young, creatively young, you know. The stuffed animals, and it starts of the 90s and the 20 and the new century. We're trying to make a chair, but in a different manner, with no, not traditionally like making a foam and putting a fabric on top of it. And we were thinking to ourselves, how can we do that? And it came a vendor of bringing lots of stuffed animals, with bears, with crocodiles, with fishes, and we bought everything, all the plushes, and I said, this will be our chair. I started sewing one plush to the other, and then it was born. But I believe that unconsciously, plush brings us to our infancy. One of the first toys you receive is a teddy bear because it is cute, it is soft, it makes you company, it brings affection. I believe that unconsciously we created an object that is connected to affection, to love, to good memories of affection, of caring for the other. This government made us hostage from evil people. We are hostages. But I don't know at that moment. I try and pick everything up of all this violence that is happening, and I want to represent that, how it shocks me, the anger that I have of mediocre people, of incapableness in the government. Everything that is happening in this country makes me very, very angry. I feel hate, but I am strong, I am resistant, and I believe that art heals. And I try to do that to heal myself, to save myself. I hate arguing in the internet, in Facebook. I am not that. That's not my talent. I like who has this word gift, but I'm not like that. My gift is silent. I believe that when you're generous, you get in double. You get returns in double. I'm not afraid. The more you give away, the more you get. I am not afraid. You know, it's funny, but each more and more I believe that generosity brings generosity, and I believe that I do that for me, because I really believe that great things will come. Getting to higher planes, you know, less suffering, less trying to own things, trying to own people. I am seeking, I believe that maturity, you start to seek things that are light. You are seeking lightness. I believe that my dream is to create that space in Brotas. I sleep at night and I go from 3 to 3 weeks to Brotas, and I see the trees growing. And when I want to sleep, there are some embaúbas, they are called, and they grow so fast. The last time I went there, they are almost a meter tall. And I think about them, and they call me. I believe that this place that I'm building, I am reconstructing my infancy. All those toys that I have as a kid that I used to make, I am reconstructing infancy. I'm reconstructing the beginning of it all. That's what I'm trying to do. You know, I believe that we are going through very tough times, environmentally speaking. It's very sad to see everything that is happening. So if I can do something, with trees, at least I believe it redeems lots of guilt that I have, and lots of karma. I believe that planting trees eliminates karma. Today they say it's carbon free, but planting trees, it's karma free as well. You plant a tree, a karma goes away. We are human. I did lots of things, and I still do.
Uau!
Wow. 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 Humberto, you are muted. Beto, your mic.
Denise, você conseguiu tirar tanta coisa de mim. Estou chocado. Olha, foi para qualquer um. Abri um canal aquele dia lá, puxa. Mas foi ótimo, adorei poder ter falado tudo isso.
Denise, you opened me up. It was very great that day. You really opened me
I
to
got
talk.
so emotional here. Carla, from this provocation, because Humberto's comment provoked us a lot. And I'd like to come from this provocation. What is the pathway for disruption so we can reinvent the world? Good afternoon, first. Thank you so much for sharing the images of the exhibit. That thrills us, makes us touched, and also listen to Humberto. That is something so important in this speech of right here, right now. And it reminded me of a story that we tell kids about a king that wanted to dress the fantastic piece of clothing, and this king was so elegant, out there, everywhere, so proud, and feelings that are not so positive. And he is fooled by a tailor. The king was naked and say, you get dressed with the most amazing and fantastic piece of garment there is. And the court, of course, is shocked to see the monarch applauding, say, you look great, what a beautiful piece of outfit. And then king is out on the streets, and the population, he listened, oh, so beautiful, the king is dressed, people applaud him, and a child pass and says, what kind of clothing? The king is naked. And with this honesty of a child, with this honest of this look, I salute your look, Humberto, that you share with us right now as this look that is naive, a child look that is so truthful and disruptive in this world that really needs the simplicity of a good look, this generosity of this look without arrogance and gentle disruption of today's world. I imagine it comes this pathway when you start designing, provoking us to simplicity, not to go far away. And I risk to say, when you plant a tree, gives you a weapon, gives you a dharma. You plant and you deconstruct the environment. You also bring to us in this speech a process that is disruptive and genuine of simplicity that is present in the concept of true. This would be the biggest motto of the disruption of our current society. How can I take true sincerity, and how can I choose? Because disruption is also a choice. Your moment, you can choose different things. You can choose things that come from different places, but maybe when you go to the simple aspect and genuine. I'm sewing a doll here and I produce here and there. You bring disruption from a moment of technology. The world, the most fantastic, would be more technological. And I dare to say that disruption is in the humane aspect, genuine aspect, collective aspect, honest, sincere, and does not see for long this feeling of what is mediocrity when we see things in reality is the arrogance aspect. How do we see in simple things the disruption for a time that is recomposing on this screen? We are together but far apart. We have different messages placed in a time and a moment, as Denise mentioned, new urbanos, new urban. What is this new urbanity? And who are these people that are part of this new urbanity and part of this planet that we live? And it's enough is enough for Christ's sake. Let's see what it's small, let's see what it's simple. Everything is already there in the world, maybe. And we have to rebuild, reconfigure. This is the disruption in this moment. We are being provoked in this image by the complexity of the sculptures, the exhibit, but also the simplicity of the material. There is clay and also fabric. A fabric is there, that green ceiling, but these are choices, and the humanity needs that. Who can nowadays choose? In this disruption, we'll choose according to the simple aspect and the complexity of the simple you can rebuild. This is the most important aspect. When you render a place with trees, when you render a place that is collective, to provoke in people feelings and sensations to the well-being, to go beyond, to see another horizon. This is very important in this point, this disruption of the new thing. And of course, I am a woman in the forest here, so far away in the northern in Acre, in the end of Brazil. Maybe this provocation comes to me as a feeling in my heart more than a concept. And I look and I say, dear God, is a boy. There is a boy talking. It's a boy sharing a feeling. And this feeling of maturity is this feeling of simplicity as well. I think about it all the time. We talk about choices. Not everybody can choose right now. Not everybody. How many people in the world can choose something? Maybe the artists can. Some can do it. Maybe they decide their pathway, but great part of the population cannot choose anything. When there is a possibility of choosing something, it could be enlarged, it could be rendered, it could be shared with the collective. This is disruptive in the world that all the time saying that you have to be the best of the best of the best. And most of the times you go and you see, I have the technological to be the best. And the technological exists, technology exists everywhere. That's important. We do not see the technology as simple and humble, as interesting to say. The disruption, what does it mean? I talk about the sense of worlds and think about the society that we live. It brings me a pathway to think about it. And this work that we see there and this trajectory makes us think about it. Bring a thought that makes us together, provoke a thought, a moment that we can look to time, understand ourselves in time, we see what comes next. This is one of the biggest disruptions that we live socially nowadays. The environment is a space, is collective, and is totally denurtured by society that is here. People talk about this relationship, social relationship, and economy in the spaces of strengthening all the economies that foster approximations in order to raise the awareness. Is this another time? Are we moving ahead another time? Can we see this other time? How many of us? How many of us dare to say that? I believe that there is this rendering, honest rendering in this process of disruption here and provoking us to think about it. For many years, there is a theater director talking about shows in the 80s in Rio de Janeiro, in the University Theater Center, where people get in and the viewer could live a different situation. At a certain point, you're asked, what is your cause? You dedicate your faith. I was so young and I listened to it, but it was so impact. And for many years of my life and up to today, all the time I ask myself, what is my cause that I dedicate my faith? And we are here. What is our cause that we dedicate our faith? Some of us would say, what point in time my destiny is mixed with so many other destinies and repercute. So I stop here, and of course, I'm provoking you, of course, from everything that we have seen and heard here. That is really touchy, and I thank you so much for this moment. I joked with Denise when I was in fact Denise, my sister. I'm not a person for this debate. Campana Brothers' work is so the Silicon Valley compared to me, the internet, you know. Steve Jobs for the internet. I am not the person to be here. I am a human being, but when I see the image, when I see your speech, it's mine as well. It resonates in me as well. It comes inside, so it is wrapped in his time because he could be in the sacred time thinking about himself, but all the time he's sharing. And this is contemporary, it's future, like this planet will only survive with more people doing this kind of disruption. Genuine desire of changing the status quo. I'm back to Humberto more with this provocation in these feelings, knowing that he has said a lot when he brings this experience, but also, and to Denise as well, what's about to come in this disruption? Who else is going to be provoked by this moment and see everything's the planet as we live in, not only fashion anymore, not only environment anymore, not only design anymore, not only architecture, they are also included, but also life. And this is the most important aspect in the time that we live in. Thank you so much, Denise. And this reinforces, there is a question that I would like to ask Humberto first, but reinforce everything that you have mentioned, Carla. The disruption would be in the eyes, inside the human being, and with this connection with nature. Would this be a disruption? It's a question.
Eu acho que uma semente, né?
I believe that a seed, you can build everything, right? From a seed that is it costs nothing to make a square, to make a garden. I believe that nature heals. I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yes, you have. Yeah, you have. That's the disruption of this connection.
yeah, and to transform that, taking the thing that no one looks to and makes it precious. I believe that disruption is that it's alchemy. It's resignify everything. we are at an era to re-signify everything, re-signify our life, give new meaning to different things. The whole planet is asking for that, is asking for urgent changes. And I come from a generation that I'm trying to walk along these changes. I believe that the great the great challenge is to be in consonance with the velocity that everything is coming from. It's very fast. I think like that, you know. We need to stop and think and always be on the lookout to really understand everything.
All the time we are talking about this internal listening when we follow our internal timing. And Carla, I'd like to hear from you. There is another question here about this parallel, and then Humberto can say something about it. Humberto's quote, this parallel he traced, that our nature is our museum. In the open air, nature and arts are being attacked right now. How do you see this, Carla? This moment, recently I have read about the professions. The professions are in disuse. The internet will replace some of these professions. People also medical appointment, you write about the symptoms and the physician will ask for lab test online, and law as well, law studies, the person can have the lawyer online. That is this database talking about professions. And I experienced a period of my life, I studied theater. When people say, theater, can you study something else? Because you study theater, but you need something so you can live from. You cannot make a living out of theater, you know. There was this profession of the artistic professions, even at university level, these professions could be disposed. So we turned the key at this point. These professions that needed to have feelings, appreciation, creation, they can never be replaced by anything, because there is a technical answer that is never comes from this reading of a piece of law. It's provocative always. Humberto, I see him. If he's going to have the exhibit again, it's going to be totally different. He looks at the old one and say, I'm going to be provoked by other, and other. And then it gives me a pathway when he said, I try to keep the creation young in youth, and this gets closer to this time that we are living, how I do repercutes in this time. And this time, this is a decision of presence, is a political decision in the sense of political. What I mean is in the genuine of the world. There is a bad word now. It seems that is bad. No, but there is a decision of thinking about political thought that is so important. I am sure that, like the forest recomposes itself. We think how many trees I have seen in these years. In Acre, I was out back in because of the pandemic last year. After 20 years, I was out of Acre. I was in São Paulo. I had to be there. I was there. And then in the beginning, I felt and I said, this cannot be true. This rubber plantation is inside of me. I remember the leaves falling on the ground. I remember the trees, because the trees are in me. I am the trees. And this is the artistic process. This attack to a florist, how many times? You seek for a forest inside of you. When you see, in order to keep this forest up, is a metaphor of a positive thinking. You see and you say, the climate of the world needs everybody. This climate needs everybody's engagement. What should I do? Our planet is heating up. Everything that it was that would take 50 years, we are reaching the point of no return. So what should we do? I believe art is here on this pathway. What should I do? That is part of this time that I live in. Listening to you both, I know that we are in the final minutes of this conversation, but I would like to ask you both. There is this professor, very interesting, called Otto Scharmer. I have been working for the last 10 years, and he has a social technology to make processes, transformation, systemic transformation process. And he has a wonderful quote that is really relevant in these 10 years that we have in Novos Urbanos. Why collectively we manifest a world that nobody wants. So listening to you both, Carla, Humberto, we are here, even the intro of this panel with Bia, why collective we live in a world that we do not want. And what is the connection of this and this dialogue? If we are co-authors in this world, and with our choices, with our images, with our social narratives, we project our world. Why? It's always the other, never ourselves. So why collectively we sustain the manifestation of our world that we do not want?
I believe there's velocity to everything, right? There's speed. Technology gave such an enormous speed that we can't keep on. And where is it going? You have fake news, people devastation. For the love of God, this is very hard to assimilate at such speed and give a response. I think that the speed of this new era is what frightens me a lot. And we get used to it, right? I am always on my phone all day long, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that? Why don't I put that away? It's like it's almost a cell of my body. It's part of my skin. I saw an exhibition yesterday, and she put her phone away for a year, and she stayed at Rio de Janeiro, taking pictures of homes as an experience, like what would it be to live in 2021 without technology? And that's wonderful. I believe that's that.
Obrigada.
Thank you, Humberto. I think that this time, what Humberto mentions is really important. As technology is connected to our life indestructibly, when the person does something, when they say, I'm disconnected, and it's important this. I see Bia saying that I was in the rubber plantation, I was in the forest. Inside the forest, you have the antennas, you have the internet network, but that is a counterpoint of the world. People are not totally absorbed by technology, digital technology. There are other technologies. To be working in a cooperative on the field, at some point we need to try to find out this opposition. So we see this, and in reality it's obvious, we always talk about it. We look from our point of view, we do not see the other. we see ourselves, I think about it. Last Saturday was a special day for Media Ninja after 14 months with nobody of our company going to the street for anything because we are locked down in Acre as well, São Paulo, they are in Casa City, in different sites we are locked down. We do not go out and we have our protocol for health purposes in order to protect our ecosystem of life. And Saturday was the first time that we called the people and say, let's go out on the streets for coverage. We opened up a chat on the internet, calling people in our media, social media, people all over Brazil that could cover this moment in order to bring people into this universe and share this moment. Oh, it was a very strong moment to us. Technology, one more time, created a space for a narrative that people needed to have, because the following day, all the media, formal and traditional media, lots of people, nobody said anything as we lived in a country that is hybrid in different times. So how much there was this importance of technology to bring this information from the southern of Pará, in a small town, in different states of Brazil, Paraná. You could go live in different points of time. People showcase what's going on. That was a parallel media as we create our time. When you talk about this provocation, it's not just what we see, because what we see is not real most of the times. How can we see beyond this real? Sometimes you use technology to see through. You have to breathe and look at Brazil. And I thank you so much for your comment, Humberto. Brazil is more than what we see. And this apparent mediocrity that is part of the society is important when you say that, when it comes inside of you with this strength of your presence, intellectual presence, image so powerful to our society, it reinforces ourselves, and we need to get out of this cyclone that is so mediocre that we are involved of everything, so we can have a transition. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to conclude, how to wrap up. You know, I am so beautiful observing this conversation, what you bring. We are all the time talking about disruption and provoking this disruption to reinvent the world. I also listen to this disruption of time. I hear the disruption of the economic model. If we look at the system that we have, economic system, it is a system that imposes this pressure of speed. It's not even the technology itself, it's the time, the pressure of time that we are all the time answering to it. Humberto, would you like to say something? Because I'm wrapping up.
Sério?
No, thank you.
Really? Really? Would you like to say something? I believe that that's the summoning to have disruptions of models, economic, political, time, and images. How? 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 How to do it? Carla, your mic is on. Would you like to say something about it? Would you like to go after how? Yes, how? How? I believe that is a question we have to ask ourselves every day.
Como? Diariamente plantando uma
On daily basis, when you plant a tree, when you harvest images, the narrative that I build, what I consume, what I choose, bring to the world as a narrative. This is so important in my consumption, in my image, how I open myself. We need to have a position for a disruption with the statement. We cannot be quiet, believing that we are among two people politically would like to run for elections. What we are talking about is a statement because we need to reinvent road models. We are not talking about election day, we are talking about models of road. I believe this panel summon everyone to keep on at home thinking about how. What is the quote of the theater producer, Carla? I love the director. What cause do you dedicate your destiny? What is
That's
the cause
wonderful.
that you dedicate your destiny? That is so beautiful. And we have this question to ourselves and make choices every day, every moment. What is the world that I would like to build to me and my future generations, collective future generations in this planet? And that's it.